on it. Come on, as they said, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Well, thank everybody for coming out today. I look around, I see a lot of love. We've got a few things several of us want to say, and then we're going to see if anybody else has any little stories they want to tell. And then we'll go from there. I'm going to call on Michelle, and she's going to talk to you here for a second.
Hi, I'm Michelle, Bert's eldest daughter. Can you guys hear me? Where's my husband? Scott Schroll. I need his eye contact.
Yeah, you need somebody to look
I can't look at you, you'll start crying. Where's Alicia?
Yeah, I got that.
You can turn around and look at me, Michelle.
That'll make you Here's my husband. Scott, I need you. I need you to be here. Look at me.
Stan, turn it up if you can. Oh, you can't? Okay.
If I talk too fast, you guys tell me.
Speak right on the microphone. Please.
And my name is Michelle. I'm Bert's eldest daughter. My sister and I were born in Scotland. My mom had died and moved to the States when I was 6. And I just had a few memories I wanted to pass along. And first I would like to say thank each and every one of you guys for being here and how much we appreciate all of you. And I know all of you adore my dad because everybody adored my dad that ever met him. He was bigger than life. He was the greatest guy I've ever known in my life. He's a one in a bazillion. There's nothing even close to him. It's right. He loved each and every one of you. Everybody was so important to my dad. One of the things I loved about my dad the most was, I think I was telling Amber this recently, when my dad spoke to anybody, it didn't matter who you were, where he was going to give you his full, undivided attention, where you felt like you were the only person in the room and the most special person in his life, because at that moment you were. Because his friends and family were the most important things to him in the world. So, I'm just going to read a few little things that I had written down. I said I was thinking back to when I was a young girl in Scotland. My very first memory of my daddy was when I was almost 3 years old. And apparently I was still as graceful as ever. A child was swinging on a thick wooden swing, this big wood, those like the made of 2x4 back in the day, and I walked under the swing as the child was swinging, and the edge of the swing came back and sliced my head open. I required to have a big dent in my head still, and it required a lot of stitches.
That explains a lot of things. That's what I was thinking, Stan. That was explaining.
And that, I had a lot of stitches, and I remember my daddy had a light blue button-up shirt, and I was only 3, not even 3 yet, right? I don't know if Chris was 4 when we got.
Yeah, you were 3.
And I remember it was just soaked in blood, but I remember my dad had vivid memories of him picking me up, placing me on his shoulder, me just having arms around him.
Yeah.
That's when he became my hero. And from that point on, he was it. He was always my hero. I always say with people, he was my hero, my first love, then my hero, then my best friend.
Yep.
And we were so close, and he was close with all of us girls. Where's my sister? I lost you. And we are such daddy's girls. We're such daddy's girls. It's beautiful. We always make fun of ourselves for being such daddy's girls. Daddy would always laugh and say, "You're the favorite." I know it. And then when we get her by herself, he said, "You know the favorite." And then he'd go 5 minutes later and tell Sharon, "You know you're the favorite." And like, we know. So it was a joke. But I said, my hero always made everything better. I'm 50 years old. I don't know what to do without my hero and my first love. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to go through, but I know he's with us right now. And I know he's so proud of us kids and his grandkids. He loved his wife, Janet. Always has, always will.
more than life itself. He always put for anything they wrote, any card, anything from them two together. I have every card they've ever given me in my life. Every card. It's like Bert, Heart, Janet. Janet, Heart, Bert. And their dad would always put B, Heart, J on every single thing. That was their thing. And he meant it. And you were a blessing when Dad found you. We were blessed because you took us as your own and raised us as your own. And I wouldn't be who I am today without the raising of both of you. And I was privileged to work with her for like 16 years at Exxon, and she taught me so much. She was amazing. Dad, we'd always get together with Daddy, and everyone would go crazy because we'd get together with Scott. We'd all talk about all the little
acronyms.
The acronyms.
Exxon acronyms.
The Exxon acronyms, and Dad would say, "Oh, this Exxon bullshit." It's all y'all were talking about is this Exxon bullshit all the time. This bloody bullshit. We'd have fun. Anyway. A couple of memories I had. I said I can recall sitting by the water on Yost Van Dyke with Daddy, looking at the Southern Cross for the first time, with Daddy, Janet, and Scott. And we were all singing When You See the Southern Cross for the first time on the beach. And we ran across this little group of young kids that were music or something on the beach with a bonfire. And I think we were intruding on their space. But we hung out with them and sang and talked for hours until we finally went to our little big beach. Little cabins that were not fantastic, but the view was amazing. It was gorgeous. And I said, then we went into this, and then the trip with Daddy, Scott, and Sissy to Key West. We had so much fun. But they made a huge mistake. They put us on this train that went through the town. A conch train that was a quiet road. You couldn't talk. And my sister and I talk a lot, and we're Scottish, so we talk very fast. And we started getting the giggles, and Scott was getting so mad. He kept turning around like, shh. And then we started laughing even harder. So Dad was like, "You too, can't bloody take you anywhere." I'm like, "I know." And so that was a blast. We've always had so much fun. Then we went to Scotland, just Scott and I and Daddy and Janet. Just the memories. There are too many to count. Our memories just are vacation buddies. Best vacation buddies. The only people Scott wants to vacation with. He says that's our vacation buddies. That's his, he's got Daddy's hat on right now. It's his vacation buddies. And or your hat. Daddy shorts. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and that's when we, Scott and I had learned the song, Somewhere in the Sun. Stop, babe. And by Kenny Chesney, we fell in love with it before they were going to St. John. We introduced them to the song, and Dad fell in love with it also. And that became our thing. Until we get together and talk about the islands, we always sing, they two would always get together with the guitars and play that song. I said Daddy adored his kids more than life itself, his wife, more than anything. His family, his grandkids. And he loved each and every one of them so much. I said it was a blessing to me that my son Trace and Dallas were able to give him a great-grandchild before he passed. He had 5 months with her, and the way they looked at each other was some kind of connection they had. I can't explain it, but it's like she knew that was her blood or something. She just knew that she knew it. Like, I know, thank you. I thank Dallas for that, because they would look at each other, have a picture of them, look at each other, she just look at them, and she'd touch them, and it was that look, you can't explain it. It's like she just knew. She knew something that we all didn't know. It's like she knew something, and it was this connection they had, and it was amazing, and it was a blessing, and I'm so glad I just wish we could have had it longer. You know, we could have had the memories longer, but speaking on behalf of my little sister and all of us, we were blessed to have the best daddy in the world, the best father-in-law, the best friend of my husband. We were all blessed. All of us here were blessed because we knew Dad. We knew Bert Toms, Bamboo Bert, the myth, the legend.
Yes, indeed.
I made him a cup recently when he and my cousin Raymond were in town. I put Toms, the myth, the legend. And that's what he was. He's you know, it's just all his funny quotes, all his funny sayings, his little Scottish words. And Joanne and Helen know all of them. And just the the funny things. All my friends used to make fun of us growing up because none of them could understand him. You know, and then if he didn't have a drink or two, they really couldn't understand him. And there was how he would talk faster, and they'd be like looking at me like, "What? What's the wee barra?" I said, "You're just like a little kid." And they're like, "Oh." And yeah, it's always funny stuff like that. I don't know if you remember Alicia, just funny things that you couldn't understand. They're like, "Cheerio," it's Cheerio, saying for hello and goodbye. It's really confusing. I'm like, "Cheerio, cheerio." Yeah, it was a lot of good things. It was a lot of fun. Had a great life. I just said it blew my mind a little this year. I turned 50 in August, and it surprised me. And I was talking to Dad, and I said, first I talked to Scott, and I was like, "Daddy, I was talking to Scott, and it's so weird. I just turned 50, and I gave you a surprise party in your house right after we moved here. We moved here in August of 98. In January 99, we gave Daddy his 50th birthday party here. Then 20 years later, I turned 50 in the same house. I was like, how's that possible?" You know, and Dad was like, "How do I have a 50-year-old?" Like, I know. But he was, one of the things I love most about my dad, his love of life. He loved every day of his life. And if we can learn anything, the days you feel pitiful and sorry for yourself and mad at somebody for just some stupid, silly reason that is just, and saying hurtful things to people. My dad never did that. He never said hurtful things. He never said ugly things. He was just always smiling. His goal, I think, every day was just to make somebody happy, and he did. Every day, he loved life, he loved people, and everybody loved him and respected him. The man, my dad, Bert Toms, I miss him so much. But I'm so blessed for the 50 years I had with him. So glad to be his wee Scottish lass. I just wish I could still get the accent. I can still put it on when I get to Scotland. It came out. But gonna miss him. He's a hard act to follow up on. So I'm gonna hand it over to my husband, Scott.
Well, we're going to wait and do that.
Oh, I'm
after.
sorry.
I think.
Well, I can at least say
But he just
give her a kiss and
Oh,
That's my dad.
say she did good.
all right.
She did great. It's not my turn? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to save you for the last because that's the best.
Oh,
We're going to have he's got a surprise.
I have a poem, but I'm just going to print it out. It's getting too long, so I'm just going to print it out for later in case it starts raining.
Do you want to? Go ahead, finish it.
I'll do it later.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I
Can't.
can't right now.
All right.
you can come after me.
Maybe after you.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not ready to speak yet either. But does anybody else have anything they want to come up and say about Herbert? Oh, I've got one here. Come on, Julie. Come on.
All right, Julie.
She's going to make me cry, too.
Hi. My name is Julie Pinocci. And most of you don't know me. My two sisters are here, Patty and Cheryl Pinocci. Our mother was Jean Pinocci. And this was her other daughter. Me, Julie, Cheryl, Patty, and Janet. And I had a brother, we all had a brother named Darryl Pinocci. And what I want to say about Bert, you know, we all have our faults. That's okay. But Bert, he loved my mother when no one else loved her because she had Alzheimer's. My brother Darryl was born mentally retarded. And there were very few people in the world that had patience and time for him. But Bert did. Bert always did. He used to take him to Hooters, which he enjoyed very much. He would bring him bottles of Jack Daniels for Christmas, which Darryl enjoyed very much. Janet was always there for my mother and for my brother, always coming up with big surprises. And Bert was always with her when most people wouldn't want to be bothered. with people that weren't normal, I guess. But Bert did. He used to bring water to Mom, and he used to spend time with Daryl and Mom. And it has just left me, and I think my sisters as well, with the biggest love for Bert. And of course that extends to Janet. It extends to Bert's children. He had a wonderful heart and a kind soul. And I will miss him very, very much. And that's all.
She forgot to mention the time that Bert burst the water pipe. Trying to fix a valve. But we got past that. He helped with the toilets when they needed it, and whatever Gene needed, he was there, and he loved Daryl deeply. I know that. Anybody else? Aunt Betty. Aunt Betty. Where's Aunt Betty? I think Terry wanted to say something too.
Get the family first.
Oh, Aunt Betty. Listen, she's been borrowing paper and writing for days, so let's see what creative things she's come up with here.
Hi. Close enough? Okay, I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget anything, okay? No, I'm not scared. May the angels sing and dance around him as I begin. Hi, my name is Betty Stout. I'm from Tampa, Florida. My husband is Marvin, and my 2 children are Devin and Kara. I'm sure everyone wants to know who I am. I am Bert's favorite sister.
How do you know that, Betty?
I know there's another rumor. I know there's another rumor of a sister-in-law way across the pond in Australia. Her name is Maureen Toms. She is married to Bert's brother, but whatever, you know what a jokester Bert was. I do have a few claims to fame. I have known Bert forever. I knew Bert when he had a full head of hair, and I even cut his hair. We've had many meals with Bert, many, in our house, and I can say Bert loved my cooking. As everyone knows, Bert has a sweet tooth. I was always sure that I made a dessert, that I would make a dessert for him.
He called you the MacGyver of the kitchen.
Right. For him, I might have also been called Bert's soup lady. Bert ate lots of my homemade soup, and I used to make everything from chili to chowders for him. It was a joy to cook for him, and I continued on. The day I made Bert pure beef bone broth, I was devastated and heartbroken, and my kitchen smelled. I would have cooked anything to keep his strength up, and he said he liked it. You can never believe anything, Bert said. He was such a comedian. Many times Bert would doze off on our couch after a heavy meal. He always would just kind of doze off in a chair. The day that he needed a blanket, it broke my heart. It brought tears to my eyes. He would never take a nap in our bedroom. That was Bert. Always wanted to be in the action, and he always wanted to be festive. I have known Bert long. I mostly think of his tricks, magic tricks that he used to do. I wish when my children were younger, I should have joined in with them for the quarters behind the ear and the missing $1 bills. I should have given him a shakedown when he finished and left my house. I would have had lots of quarters and lots of dollar bills. My personal favorite in his bag of tricks is when he made a napkin walk across a bar top by the help of a lemon. Bert was innovative.
It's a craft. Art craft.
Yeah, he was innovative. He made the saying, if someone gives you lemons, make lemonade. Bert made magic, changed lives, and also made people laugh and smile, wondering how does he do that? To Michelle, Sharon, Chris, Loretta, and Laura, that must have been a wild ride. To Scott, Bobby, Brett, and Chad, that must have been a wild ride. To Trace, Bobby, Caitlin, Bailey, Tyler, and Stuart, that must have been a wild ride. Aw, so life, and so is Janet. Janet was his always have, always will, wee Ginty McGinty. Bert was her always have, always will, her split apart. My last claim to fame, Jazz Fest. Hello. Flew in the gang. I really did not know much about Jazz Fest, and I was thinking of lots of food. So off we go. Paid lots of money. I wanted to be festive too. Bert, who knew what the day would be like, would be absolutely the hottest day of the year. I immediately got sick and had to leave. I kept saying, everybody stay, I will just go back to the hotel. No, no, Bert said, we will all go back. Sorry, Bert, still love me. I'm not sure if I was the favorite sister-in-law that day. The headliner was Jimmy Buffett. The only thing I want to say in the ending of this is, may the angels play their guitars as I end in memory of Bert. Yes, I do. Well, thank you.
Laura's coming. Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm not a public speaker, but Michelle was referring to all of Bert's famous quotes, and I've been keeping a list for a couple of years now. Bert added a few to the list, my mom deleted a few, so this is what's left. Okay, anytime he had two of his ladies on either side, he always wanted, and y'all can fill in the blanks, a kiss in stereo. Kiss in stereo. That was one of his favorite things. He'd get a kiss from two of us at once. One of his favorite quotes, which is absolutely true, is from a Mac Davis song, is to know me is to love me, of course. And he would walk past every mirror and then kind of stop and look back and be like, oh, it happened again. I got better looking. Yeah. He was a very punny fellow, and he loved to combine, crazy quotes. And one of them was, does the Pope shit in the woods? That was Bert.
It really has to do with the bear.
As opposed to the bear,
Yeah.
as opposed to is the Pope Catholic.
Yeah, he kind of
He's punny. If I have to explain it, it's not as funny, but some of his Scottish quotes are, "Here's your coat. What's your hurry?" He was rarely chasing anyone out the door, but that was a given. If we didn't see you through the week, we'll see you through the windy. Let's see. Oh, the gift that God would give us to see ourselves as others see us. With kids, Stuart had a couple of favorites. Of course, he had the magic ball in the paper bag. If you've ever seen him in action, he used to come to my kindergarten class for strings week. He would bring a mandolin, a banjo, every stringed instrument known to man. Then he would play with the magic ball in the paper bag at the end of class. That's all they would remember. I'd be like, so much for that. Anyway, and he's always known for telling kids, asking you, how old are you? Oh, you're 8? Well, when I was your age, I was only 7. And just watch their faces kind of glaze over. Another kid quote, who are you and why are you talking like a munchkin? As some dad advice that he would always give us, whenever we would travel, he would tell us that we can never be lost because we had a good American tongue in our heads. You don't remember that?
say he had a good Scottish.
You have a good Scottish tongue.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, well, us American girls. And then when he taught us how to drive, he would tell us that we needed to put our heat in a swivel, make sure we were looking in every possible direction. The solution to the car was turn up the radio. Yeah. My mom would always say, use your brain, not your brawn. Bert would follow that with, use your brawn, you'll get it eventually. Oh, and every time we went to a restaurant, if he was going to have a salad, he would every time say, as far as his dressing choice, well, I think I'll have Thousand Island for a change.
But it was always
And we would all be rolling our eye, but every time. Let's see. If you came to him and told him that something hurts, he would say, well, don't do it. It hurts when I do this. Well, then don't do that. That was his solution.
Don't do that.
He would tell us, sorry, Mom. He would tell us it's nothing a big fart can't cure. That was a famous one. He would tell us to train our body. If we had a headache, we'll train your body not to have the headache, And he was, of course, a prankster who always wanted everyone to laugh. He packed probably 100 years of life into the 70 that he had. And the one story that he asked me to tell for his eulogy, I'm sorry, it's going to embarrass Mom, but it was the best accidental prank that he ever pulled.
Oh, that.
Yeah. It involves a Christmas present.
It's
and
syllables. It's a syllable thing.
when we, one year for Christmas Eve, we all opened a gift the night before, on Christmas Eve. So he gives Mom a gift, and he's so proud for her to open this gift. And she unwraps it, of course, holds it up, and it's a shirt. And we all read the shirt, and she was like, whoa, and then put it away really quick. And we all know that Mom is really big into genealogy and family history and everything else. He thought the shirt that he bought said, recreational genealogist. What the shirt actually said. The shirt? Yeah, he bought it at a little kiosk in the mall. The shirt actually said, recreational gynecologist. So Mom is like mortified, and he's just, we finally explained it to him, and he just fell apart laughing so hard. And so now all the time, if we ever talk about family history, I'm like, well, if I have to explain like how cousins and second cousins and twice removed and all that works, I'm like, well, my mom would know because she's a recreational gynecologist. And then I have to explain it, and Bert loves, that story. So that was his request. But he does want everyone. He wanted today to be a happy day. He wants everyone to laugh in his memory, and we all know how much he'll be missed. So you have it. Sorry about that last one. His request.
Anybody else? Anybody? All right, Terry's up. And we'll get the band.
Yep. Band count. For whatever that matters. It's louder in here. Yeah. Okay, anyway. I just wanted to share the light of what y'all were just expressing with Bert's comedy and how it affects families. Bert has affected mine. And to this day still. My oldest daughter, her name's Scott, years ago, he was at our house. I don't know, he was playing music, I'm not sure what. And it's the first time Sky met him. And of course he said he's Phil Collins. Okay?
He kind of looked like him. He had a little ponytail.
Had that girl convinced he was Phil Collins. Of course I went with him. My old buddy, Phil Collins, right? And so he actually signed autographs for her. She wanted autographs for her friends. So he signed a bunch of them. She went to school and traded them for lunches. And every time he came over, he'd have to sign more autographs for her. And he'd sign them. Phil Collins. And I'm telling you, I think until she got married or so, she's 30 some odd now, got 6 kids. She still thought he was Phil Collins. She couldn't be here today, but I would just want to express how he affected lots of families and kids. And there was always that love.
She told us that story when she married my stepbrother Danny. She told us that story in such a small world. She was like, forever, I thought your dad was Phil Collins. I said, well, he is. Now you know. No, he's not. He's really not.
And that's true. It's kind of weird that my daughter married.
That's my mom, her husband's.
There you are.
Yeah.
I didn't see you over there. And it ended up, we all been a big family.
Right.
It was like, well, Bert, you were actually kind of my
in-law
here, and I didn't know it after 20, 30 years, right? But Sky and Danny aren't here, but yes, we're all related. We're all part of this big family.
Thank you, Carol. Glad you came.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, mother from another shoes.
I'm Randy Porter, the animal. I've known Bert since '79. Bert's favorite saying to me was, sit down and have a drink with your brother from another mother. I sat and had many drinks with my brother from another mother, and I love you.
Tell you, first of all, I met Bert Toms. Back in 1979, he had just come back from Bartow, Florida. And that was a big thing back then. Where the hell's Bartow, Florida?
Where the hell is Bartow?
Well, he comes into the Jefferson Lounge, sees this long-haired guy up there just bouncing around playing the bass. He's like, where the hell did Al find him? Well, we took a break, and I walked over to the bar and ended up sitting down next to him. We started talking. We got along real good. I go back up to play, and Hal looks at me and says, you want to introduce your new friend? I said, sure. All the way from Glasgow, all the way from Ireland, at great expense, Mr. Bert Toms. He comes up with his guitar, and he stands next to me. I am from Scotland, and now you forget it. He was the kind of person who would go anywhere and get away with anything, as you've heard. So, I always said, he says his friend walk outside and get wet. Well, he's got old Bess, this old van he had. So many things we did in that. One time, he's sitting there. Oh, my throat's scratchy. I gotta have tequila. And we're going to play at the gymnasium. That's not a good place to play music, by the way. So we get to the gymnasium. By this time, Bert, because the exhaust fumes from the van, he's plastered. I had just cut my finger. I'm bleeding all over my bass. And he's wanting to do the after the flooding instead of after the loving. I'm like, Bert, don't do it. Don't do it. Nobody understood anything he said. We were glad of it. Bert would do things to people just out of fun. He'd pull pranks on them. And I for so many years, sat and watched it. And I'd go along with it, too. I was a bad influence. And he would come up with ideas. And we're like Fred and Barney, you know? He comes out with this get-rich-quick scheme. I don't know, Fred. Well, I don't know, Bert. So we went through that for a while and played music together for a long time. We did a lot. Bert was my older brother. I'm the oldest of my family. Bert was my older brother. He was my best friend of 40 years. And that gives new meanings to these kids saying, you know, BFF, we really were. And we did so much together. But back in the 80s, we had this 8-track console, and we used to sit there and record all the time. Sometimes just for fun, sometimes we did some really good stuff. Well, we're cleaning out just before he had his, I guess called the Queebo party, and I found these masters. I said, Bert, you told me you lost them. So I thought I did. I said, can I have it? This is 30 years. I said, great. So then I had to go to Stan and get the 8-track console they recorded from. And there's a lot of people we played music with over the years that's on there. And there's quite a few that we played with that's not. Well, there's some other stuff on there that's not complete. And I'm planning on getting some of the guys that's not already on there to come in. And we're going to finish this CD. It's going to be the last release from Bamboo Bert Production. And it's going to be called Things Left Undone.
Thank y'all very much. My name is Murray McCullough. I've been part of the band. Bert and I kind of started it in the very beginning. I'm here with my wife, Ellen, out there. And Bert and I first met Bert in, 1978. I was a LSU student working part-time at Walk Haydell and Associates on the Airline Highway, and Bert and I worked together. And at lunchtimes, we'd go back into trailers. They had a trailer that was abandoned back then. We'd go back and sit and play music. And Bert was, I think Bert missed his call. As great as he was at what he did for a living, I think he missed his call. I think he should have been a comedian, a storyteller. Because Bert could tell some stories. In fact, this is a little unknown story, but I'm certain Jimmy Buffett wrote that song with those lyrics said, a semi-true story, believe it or not, I made up a few things and some I forgot. That's Bert Toms. We've been friends ever since then. I was playing music by myself one night, and he came up and said, we're going to put a band together. And unfortunately, this was the result. Anyway, look, I'd like to take an opportunity here, if you don't mind. I plagiarized a song. And some of you may remember a song by Vince Gill called Go Rest High on This Mountain, but I took some extreme liberties, and if I can get through it, I'd like to try it for Bert. Son, your life on earth was special. If only you knew what you meant. Those whose lives you fill with laughter. To those of us who called you friend. So glorious high on that mountain, son, your life on earth is done. Sail to heaven shouting love for the Father and the Son. We all cried the day you left us. We will miss your smile and snow. Wish I could see the angels' faces when they sing your sweet songs. So set yourselves and cross the Jordan. Son, your work on earth is done. Sail to heaven shouting love for the Father and the Son. Love for the Father and the Son. I love you, Bert.
I think Helen wanted to say something, and then if there's nobody else, I think I have one other thing to say, and then we'll let Scott take care of things. Here you go. Yeah, hug it. There you go.
Okay, whoa. Okay, by request from Michelle, I have a poem here from my Uncle Bert's cousin in Canada, Thomas McGee. I'm going to try to do this in my best Scottish accent. Don't judge me. You've taken your chords with you, and yet your song remains, your steady walk, your gentle gait, your instrument's refrain, your pensive pose, cloud gazing as you dreamt of bouncing sounds and rhythmic notes all dancing in your head. That wee smile that warned us all, wee Bertie on his game. Some tears I've shed, and more to come on days yet to appear, but joy flows over all of those with a feeling that you're near. An indelible mark you have left, big cousin. Only a few are privileged thus. Poets, artists, sages, and musicians. Auntie Margaret's class. Too soon you've gone from our midst. No more to touch and hug. Whomsoever shall mention his name, wee Bertie Toms. Farther down the years, the laughter which will resonate shall drown out all the tears. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. AT&T telemarketing. Timing. Yeah, when am I going to pay my student loan? Okay, I'm going to tell you one thing, and then Scott's going to come up and present a toast, and we'll end on that note. I was going to do this whole eulogy. I did it at his funeral, but I don't think I can do it now. But I just wanted to mention one thing. The only thing I wanted to talk to you all about is if you went in the house and you got one of those little trifolds that has a lot of pictures in it, you're going to find the words to his last song. he surprised me by writing one last song. And after Scott gives his toast, these guys have been practicing it and are going to sing it for you. The title of it is I Love You More. And a little story behind it is that my cousin Lucy in Tampa, she's my godmother, so she's a little older than me. Every time I would call her, I'd say, I love you, Lucy. And she says, well, I love you more. And I would hang up and I'd tell Bert that really upset me. It's like she somehow diminished my love by saying she loved me more. What do you say back to that? Everybody else always says, I love you too, or, you know, something along those lines. So for years we discussed the fact that Lucy loves you more. And I got her a pillow that says, I love you more. She still got it. Anyway, and Laura at one time suggested that the answer back should be impossible. So I started using that answer back. So he came to me one day and told me, I just wrote a song right here with you, and it was called I Love You More. And I thought it was going to be about this little tit for tat, back and forth problem here. But it turned out to be one of the deepest songs I think he's ever written. And if you'll pick up one of the little folders that's in the house, and by the way, Bert helped me put that together, and this is a command performance for him, where he organized all this, and we put the lyrics to that song, and I just want to read you the third verse to that. It's really a very nice song. It's the first one he's ever written, I thought, that was on a spiritual level. And the guys will sing it in a minute after Scott gives us a toast, but the last verse is, Mary sat at the foot of the cross, her tears were falling free. She could feel her heart breaking as her Savior suffered agony. She looked up and whispered, Lord, you know my love for you is sure. He looked down and said, I love you more. I love you more than life itself. I love you and anyone else who puts their faith in me and comes on through my door. Yes, I love you more, and you will see that there is a place for you near me, a place much higher than the eagle soar. With an everlasting love, I love you more. So we know that Bert had faith and knew that we would meet again someday. And the guys are going to sing that for you in a little while, turning it over to Scott. And then we got to get back to the party.
Bert said.
Bert said it.
Bert said.
Bert said so.
I knew this was going to be tough. All these people out here just love Bert. Jesus. Okay, so I'm Scott. Some of you know me, some of you don't. A little history. I married Michelle. I had to ask Bert permission. And, of course, I had to go through an initiation process. And how many people know Rodney?
Yep.
So I had to meet him at Chimes, I think. Get closer? Yeah, I had to meet Bert and Rodney at Chimes. Of course, if you know those guys, I mean, they're a hoot. And everything Bert and Rodney did was fun. But I had to listen to the stories and listen to the jokes, and I better get them. I better laugh at them. And I told one or two of myself, I guess, and I guess I passed. So, of course, how lucky am I? I get chanted in Bert. She had fun. And we stayed at a Courtyard Marriott or something. They had a gazebo in the back. And Bert came and took measurements, and I took videos, and I built it, and Bert painted it. So we got married. Right here. he was a great father-in-law. Of course, can't say nothing about Janet either. But man, he did get to be my best friend. Person I preferred traveling with. Okay. Before I talk about the travels, I'll talk about what I remember with the family when I was initiated. Okay. Of course, you got to learn how to play the camping game, right? I'm not going to tell you how to do it. You got to be initiated yourself if you hadn't already. But some of the stories, I remember Michelle telling me that Bert and Janet left from the house and going out or whatever, and left Michelle there. That's trouble right there, you know. So she was a teenager in a room. Of course, what does she do? She goes and makes a drink. And Bert must have known her, because what's Bert do? He comes around and comes back in the front door. He goes, okay, so he really forgot something. I guess he wasn't coming back just to get the drink, because he didn't know that she was making a drink, but she was. And so he just goes up to her. What you got there? Tastes it. That's pretty good. He walks off with it. So, yeah, I count my blessings all the time. He was a great guy. Everybody knows. That's why he's got so many people here. He was special. My next door neighbor, I never met her until yesterday. She yelled across the road and came across and talked to me, Amanda Anselmo. And she says my mom and dad knew Bert. Okay, and she had met Bert, and he made an impression on her too. He makes an impression on her. So they used to have a bar on Millerville, and it was called Tony's.
Old Hammond.
Tony's Tavern. Yeah. So that was the Anselmos. And I don't know if they're here today. Amanda, are you here? She said she'd try to make it. Mr. Anselmo. They had the bar with her. Okay, yeah, I had the pleasure of making some trips with Bert and Janet, and that's just, they make the trip. I mean, anywhere you go with them, it doesn't matter if it's at the Chimes here in Baton Rouge or in Scotland. You know, you're going to have a good time. And I remember the first time I'd been to Disney World 20 times, taking my kids to Disney World. But I take Bert Toms, and he says, let's go drive. So we drive. There's a bar right over here, there's a boat right over here, and of course we stop at all of them and have a good time with Bert, you know. And it's him talking to people. That's what he loved to do, you know. And it's like when you leave there, it reminds me of that Poltergeist movie where the lady walks away and says, that house is clean. It's like Bert says, well, that place has been Bert Toms, you know. And they love him, you know. Then we go to, it was a great trip. We went to Scotland. I got to see where Bert was from. And I can't understand a damn thing he says when he gets with his cousin. Jeez. But we go to Edinburgh and play some golf there, okay, at Edinburgh, where golf was invented. And Bert and I go and get on the putt-putt course, and we make a hole-in-one. Hey, we made a hole-in-one at St. Andrews. You'll always find a gold liner behind anything you did. And of course, then I think the trip of my life was when we were able to travel with him and Janet to St. John. And that's where Bert just, that's where he should be. You know? He had a blast. Okay. He lived by music, by songs. And Sheva and I had been there once, and we called him on the phone, and he said, "Where'd you go?" We said, "Yost Van Dyke." He said, "Did you drink any Foxy's Firewater rum?" Oh, we went to Foxy's, and we went to Soggy Dollar Bars. Like, dang, you gotta drink some Foxy's Firewater rum. So we got on the boat the next day, went back over there where we just were, and just to drink some Foxy's Firewater rum. And we're gonna have a toast here in a little bit, and I just happen to have 2 bottles of Foxy's Firewater rum left. And he says, "Well, did you go to Quiet Mine?" Because there's a lyric in a Kenny Chesney song that says, "I want to play my guitar in the Caribbean sun, hang with the locals, Quiet Mine." I got to see Bert do both. It's special. That guy was special. What was tough is when Bert came back here recently. But it's tough today too. I thought I wasn't by it, but I guess I'm not. We're gonna have a toast. We're gonna drink some Foxy Firewater rum to whoever wants to drink some. Chad, I want you to kind of take it light. What? All right. Somebody want to... What? Well, like I said, Bert makes everything fun, and we had a rum tasting test over at his house, and it didn't take long to get some of them where they had enough. I'll just say that. All right. So what y'all want to do? Y'all want me to get the cups out here, or we want to have the toast and then the song?
I think we should do the toast after this.
Scott seen it.
No. I got some little cups in here.
Go ahead, Stan. I'm just recording.
Okay. Okay, never mind. Okay, but they're not going to sing the Somewhere in the Sun. Sing Bert's song. But once everybody gets their share of Foxy's here, we're gonna sing a toast. No, say it to.
You're gonna see it.
A love so warm and true. Preacher says you can kiss the bride. I said I love you to the girl I adore. Squeeze my hand and whisper, I love you more. I love you more than you would know. And every day I will show what it feels to live a love, grow and grow. I love you more than you can tell. Always have and always will. As long as it throws kisses at the shore. I love you more. While since I called my mama, so I picked up the phone. Said, talked about the kids and the job. Hey, that she's all alone. Said goodbye, I love you, like 100 times before. He said, I love you more. I love you more like a Mother's Day. Since the day I gave birth to you, I'm so proud of the man love you more. Mary sat at the foot of the cross, tears were falling free. She could feel her heart breaking as the sun suffered agony. She looked up and whispered, Lord, my love for you's for sure. He looked down and said, I love you more. I love you more, life itself, you and anyone else comes to me and walks back through the door. I love you more, we'll see, there's a place for you near me, a place much higher than the eagle soars, with an everlasting love. I love you more. I love you more. I love you more. Yep, can't say enough about Bert.
One of his best. You want to say a toast, guy?
That's a number one right there.
That's a number one.
That's a number one.
You get a good singer, you get a good country singer.
All right. I'll play y'all one thing. That's what we're fixing to toast to.
Be scared of that mic.
Just a little piece of that song.
Get right on it.
Get on it.
Yeah, get right on it.
Went like this. Here's a toast to you on the coast and the sailors out at sea. Drink your ales and hoist your sails. Ride the wind and think of me. 'Cause I wish I was there tonight on your Van Dyke. Sipping on that song.
No problem. We love you, Bert.
All right, so the toast is, here's a, y'all can repeat after me.
You notice yours is much fuller than mine. What's that doing?
Understand?
I'm better. I'm better. Yeah, you won't tell your guys.
How much I give you, Chad?
Yeah, talk in the mic.
All right, y'all gotta repeat after me. Here's a toast to you on the coast.
Here's a toast to you on the coast.
And the sailors out at sea.
And the sailors out at sea.
Drink your ales.
Drink your ales.
And hoist your sails.
Hoist your sails.
Ride the wind.
Ride the wind.
And think of me.
And think of me.
Y'all have all been Bert Toms. Here's the Bert.
Here's the bird.
Love you, Bert.
We're going down the lake with Michelle.
Michelle, my bell?
I thought you were thinking of myself.
No, we got 4 songs. We got with
Michelle, my belle, these are words that go together well. Hi, Michelle. Michelle, ma belle, sont les mots qui vont très bien ensemble, très bien ensemble. I love you, I love you, I love you. That's all I want to say. Till I find a way, I will say the only words I know that you'll understand. bien longtemps, j'ai bien longtemps. I want you, I want you, I want you. I think you know by now. I'll get to you somehow. Until I do, I'm telling you, so you'll understand. I love you. I want you, I want you, I want you. Think you know by now. I'll get to you somehow. Until I do, I'm hoping you will know what I mean. I love you. I want you, I want you, I want you. Think you know by now. I'll get to you somehow. Until I do, I'm hoping you will know what I mean, my Michelle.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
She's Michelle also.
It's easy. Makes it easy.
Y'all gonna sing this? There'll be no. Come on, Murray, you wanna sing? Oh, you're not gonna sing this?
Sharon, this is your song.
There'll be no strings to bind your hands if my and find a heart. There'll need no room to take a stance. It was I who chose to start. I know tennis phone. I'm old enough to face the dawn. Just call me angel of the morning. Just rub my cheek before you leave. Just call me angel of the morning. And slowly walk away from me. Maybe the sunlight will be dim. It won't matter anyhow. If morning echoes say we sin, it was what I wanted now. If we're victims of the night, they won't be blinded by the light. Just call me angel of the morning. Just touch my cheek before you leave. Just call me angel of the morning. Slowly turn away. I won't beg you to stay with me. Just call me angel of the morning. Just brush my cheek before you leave. so slow. Going down with the old man and a transistor radio. Standing in the sunlight laughing. Time behind the rainbow wall. Slipping and a sliding. All along the waterfall. It was you, a brown-eyed girl. You're my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when we used to sing sha la 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 da, sha la 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 da da da. So hard to find my way. Now I'm on my own. Saw you just the other day. My, you have grown. Cast my memory back that long. Sometimes get overcome thinking about making love in the green grass. Behind tight and steady, I'm with you. A brown-eyed girl. Ooh, my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when we used to sing